So today we're going to take a look at Navi versus Koi because Navi decided to play Gekko on both maps that they played actually. And so we're going to take a look at how they managed to use Gekko. And we're not really going to focus too much on the game. I would implore you to go and watch the highlights of this game because it was an absolute gigabanger. But we're just going to focus on how Navi used Gekko. And let's start off here with round number 3. And maybe a certain someone said that, a way to use Dizzy on the defensive side is to just throw it up in the air and see if anyone is there, right? So, for instance, in this situation, Xiao here, who's playing Gekko, is by Waterfall, right? And he's going to throw his Dizzy up into the air, and it's going to blind one, and he hears the shots of 2 people, so they know that there are a couple people out here, right? And he can also come and reclaim the ability nice and easily. I made a YouTube show about this pretty much as soon as Gekko was released on the kind of first day. And yeah, I do still think, and it's clear that, Xiao thinks as well, that this is one of the best ways to use your Dizzy on defensive side. Okay, now let's come to round 5 for some interesting things and some good Gekko use in this round. First, we'll start off with this, right? So the situation is this, we're at 115, and you can see that we have some very deep control here of C, okay? We've got the one-way up right now, but actually Angel's about to put his orb there, his Viper orb as well, and he's got, pretty deep control here of C, but you can see that we're going to get a shock dart here from Coldamenta, and we're going to get a drone as well, and so clearly Navi are a bit concerned, hey, maybe this is a B hit, right? And so the drone comes in, you can see just there, but take a look at what happens on the map, because Angel is going to decide to open the door so that they can check B here with the Gekko ult. And let's see how Xiao uses it, right? So there goes the Gekko ult. It comes across the map there, and it clears out all of B, and he gets around this corner, and then he decides to turn back, okay? And so it ends up about here. Now, the thing is, Xiao was doing this quite often on attack side and defense side, where the first use of the Gekko ult, and I do think that this is the way you probably should be using your Gekko ult, basically see it like a Skydog, right? We're going to clear out an area and then come back, right? Don't get too greedy with it. In this instance, I think he just went a bit too far. He got around this corner, and the turning circle of the ult, of course, is not perfect. So it ended up in a bit of a dangerous position. But you can see his intention was to turn around and come back if possible. And I think you should be using it like this as well, right? You should be wanting to get it kind of back close to you so that you can go and retrieve it and use it for the second time. Now, as we run the round forward, you'll see Koi do start to come towards C. Angel manages to get a kill, but he gets killed through his own smoke just there. Xiao has to retreat, and Koi are going to go for just a C hit here eventually. As they omen ult in onto the site, we get the Gekko Mosh pit there. You might have just seen it, but Xiao Mosh pits the C entrance just there. Meaning the rest of the team kind of can't come in. He throws up his Dizzy. No one really is coming in just yet, but you see we're going to get a good use of Xiao Wingman here as well, where he goes for the Wingman just there. It brings down the crosshair of Wolfen, which means he's able to trade basically off the Wingman just there, get another kill, and he does really well, managing to get 2 kills and kind of holding down this site. We did see sometimes, I think particularly with the Mosh pit, where again, it's not like a KO nade. You kind of have to find the right timing, or at least right positioning for that utility, because otherwise you're in trouble. Coldamenta gives this a good go. He actually, in a 1v3, manages to make it pretty close, but Zipan is able to win the round there for Navi. And now let's come to the very next round, round number 6, where the situation is this. We're in a 5v4. Actually, Koi are on a save. They have picked up the one rifle just there, but they're actually they're in on A, and they're going to get the spike down, okay? So we're in a 4v5 retake. But Navi do have the guns. But we're going to see, again, Wingman comes in pretty big for this round, as you will see. Because as Navi start to come for this retake in just a second, you'll see Xiao's going to get a kill, but then Wingman is going to get on the spike, right? And it's going to disrupt kind of Koi's overall plan, because Koi also have this silver ult. So Coldamenta is just sitting deep for this retake, right? He's sitting all the way back here, but you see that Xiao's able to win this first fight here, and there we go. We send the Wingman on the spike, right? And so now the Wingman is tanking these nanoswarms, okay? Wingman's tanking the nanoswarms on the spike. They start to, they keep coming in, and before the nanoswarms are able to kill Wingman, he's able to get half on the defuse. Shados is just going crazy, which he did all game. And so now we get the silver ult, but of course now that the spike is halved, this silver ult isn't causing them nearly as many problems, right? They can, there was basically no way they could lose it because they had so much time, because it was already halved, and the silver ult, they can just tank one hit. And so you see that Wingman, kind of came in, and actually Shados at the end of the game kind of said, like, early on they did struggle a bit, with realizing kind of the Wingman planting defuse potential, and it did cost them perhaps some of these rounds. But now let's flip to the attacking side. So now we're at round 15, and what's going to happen here is we're going to get an example of what basically I think Navi's overall game plan was. Okay, this I think is a good example of what their game plan is. So what's going to happen is they're going to come into A. This is actually the bonus round for Koi here. They're going to send Wingman into plant. Right, and so Wingman's going to plant just here. You can see they already have a Nano Swarm on this box. Right, and what's going to happen is they're going to get out a Shock Dart and a stun. Okay, so again, this is the advantage of Wingman, right? That they get a Shock Dart on Wingman that he can just tank, and we get a stun out from the breach, right? Thinking that this is a player, but of course it's not a player, right? And I think as teams get more familiar with Gekko and how it might work, I think teams will obviously plan around this and stuff. But obviously Gekko just tanks a stun and a Shock Dart, and basically it's wasted utility for Koi. And what's more is that as Coldamentus trying to shoot it, Xiao then swings off him shooting and is able to actually get a kill as well, right? But now let's take a look at what they just did. You might have just seen a Viper orb, fly across the screen, because that's now on the spike as well. And so we already saw there was one Nano Swarm there. And so Suigetsu and Angel are just going to come and play super, super deep. Right, super deep. CNET is going to end up on the site alone. And this happened in a lot of Navi's attacking rounds, and they struggled on the attacking side for a couple reasons, right? But this, I think, was their overall game plan. Wingman goes sending in to plant the spike. CNET is up on the site kind of with him, somewhat on his own. And then we're going to get these guys with Nano Swarms, Viper Mollies on the spike and whatnot, and just saying you can't defuse the spike, right? And you can't stop the spike from being defused because it's not a player, or if you do, you haven't killed a player. And we've got, these lineups and stuff that are going to make it difficult for you. And CNET in this round is going to manage to get 2 kills from this kind of weird position as well. There goes one. He gets the second just there. Does eventually get traded by Shados, but now we're in a 4v2. We've got the lineups as well on the spike, right? There's literally no way you can win this round, right? There goes a Nano Swarm. We got the Viper Orb on the spike as well. I mean, we don't even really need it in this round, as you'll see. But this, I think, was Navi's overall plan. Problem that I think that Navi had, though, is that they didn't really have the contingencies for what if the plan goes wrong, right? Because there is a lot of things that can go wrong. We said that CNED was kind of the one who was going in onto sites kind of on his own, right? And we saw it there where everyone else is kind of far away, but CNED is deep on the site himself. Here's another example where CNED is deep on the site himself, and, Navi are kind of nowhere near him. And the problem is, of course, in that other round, he got 2 kills. But what if he gets no kills, right? What if he just dies like that? What if we end up in a 4v5, right? That's one thing that can go wrong. And the thing is, they sent CNED in, and, CNED's here on the site, so Xiao goes, okay, well, I guess we can plant on B, and so he sends Wingman in. So now it's almost too late, right? Now they're almost committed to planting B. And the thing is, though, again, is like, well, what if you aren't, set up for this plan perfectly? They actually do manage to get this kill on Starkso, actually, from Angel back towards C just here. He's going to find the kill there on Starkso before these guys get obliterated. But you'll see, they're playing so far off here, right? Yes, the spike is planted, but everyone else is so far off, and this time they don't have, the correct lineup, so they don't have the things on the spike that they need to make this worth it. Suigetsu goes down there from the Razor, and so you lose the Killjoy mollies, and all of a sudden, you're in trouble where Coldamentor is just sticking the spike. Now, I'm not sure if they didn't hear the tap noise or not, maybe with the ults going off and whatnot. I'm not sure, but, we had a lot of rounds like this where Koi were able to retake because Navi's game plan was very much play very passive, right? Don't get too far up on site. Hope that Wingman can plant and, hope that CNED can do something basically. And so if CNED dies without getting a kill, you're in trouble, right? If Wingman dies, you're in trouble. There's a lot of things that could potentially go wrong. And we did start to see that, this sort of, I think what was their, fundamental game plan, did come apart in some of these rounds. And then we went deep into overtime here, 19-18. And don't get me wrong, Navi had more than enough chances. They should have won this game. They lost a 1v3 to lose the game, basically, which is kind of crazy in overtime. 3v1, just all you got to do is kill Starkso and they win. They couldn't do it. Starkso clutches a 1v3. But here's another example for you, right, where we get the exact same thing. They come in to see, remember, they don't have a duelist. So basically, CNED is acting as their duelist by TPing here as the Omen, right? That's basically what his job is in this team comp. But again, what happens when CNED dies, right? He's kind of way ahead of the team. He's actually flashed swinging out here, and he's in trouble. It's a good flash by Stark. So Zipan tries to come out with him, but everyone else, right, the players who are maybe there to do the lineups and stuff, we're really far away from this, right? So again, if we don't have a duelist, so getting out of these choke points might not be the easiest thing in the world. And now again, CNED's in the site, so send Wingman in, right? But so Wingman is unsupported. So what if Wingman dies? Which he does just there. Oh, the spike gets dropped in a horrific position, right? And this is the last round, and this is how they lost the game. And so I understand what, Navi were going for. I think that they did lack a bit. I mean, somehow they even get that kill on Trex. I mean, it shouldn't have even been this close, but I understand what they were going for, but you could see that there was some kind of limitations, I think, with the strategies as a whole and with the comp. And I think the Gekko usage on the whole wasn't bad. I had people in my chat saying, did Gekko cost them this game? Would they have been better off without it? I think Gekko looked fine, and I still think that Gekko is very good. Did Shao play it perfectly? Of course not, right? It's still a new agent. Everyone who uses it is still not going to be playing it to the absolute maximum. But there were still some things that were really good about Gekko, and I still think there is potential there. But you see, there's just no hope, right? And so when these rounds went wrong for Navi, it did seem to look like it was really wrong. And I think, this Gekko pick, yeah, probably did take Koi by surprise early on. But I think as they got used to the Wingman and the plants and stuff like that, they were able to adapt to it and they were able to punish it. And they ultimately would end up winning the game.